So I'm going to be combining a few things here in this video. I want to combine some stuff that Jeffrey Dean Morgan said, and then there's things with the final episode, like Negan's spin-off episode. There's some new information here that does hint at how the Saviors actually get started, because we are likely going to see that in that episode. And also, I want to talk about the new trailer, which is just, it's involving creating Lucille. So, of course, if you are new to the channel and you want more Walking Dead content like this, just make sure to be a subscriber. The show is returning in 11 days for people who are watching it on AMC+. I'm going to be posting my non-spoiler review that night, but my actual full-on spoiler review, that will be on the night after the episode airs. I'm also going to be posting a Q&A later on today, so stay tuned for that. I already did everything. That was from the Q&A that I asked. It was the Q&A post that I made on Instagram like a week or two ago, so I did that one. But yeah, let's talk about this. So the shot that we do have of them creating Lucille, well, first of all, there's two shots. There's this one here, which isn't really anything new, but it is Negan creating Lucille, and it is actually a teaser. It's an actual scene of him wrapping the barbed wire around the bat, which is really cool to see, because we just haven't seen Negan create that bat before, right? Like, we haven't seen him, well, we haven't seen anything anyways of his origin, so it's just a really cool scene to see, and this does seem to be the real Lucille. This is the first original Lucille, and this is Negan creating her, right? And I can't wait for certain scenes in this episode. I definitely think this episode is going to be the best one for sure, just because you can do so much. Like, you really can do so much here. Like, there's this shot here, and we'll just talk about this now. It's a shot of Negan in, the fire. Now, his hairstyle and stuff, this does look like a lot of other shots where he's going into this bar, and I think he's rescuing somebody here, or something's going on here anyways. And at this point here, Negan, he just has that look in his eyes, like he doesn't give a shit anymore. He's kind of lost all of his humanity, and I think that's where the Negan that we do get is going to be born from, right? And I really am interested in how that character is going to develop, because we have our current Negan, right? Where he's way more sympathetic to people. He's not going to do what he did before. I don't think he could actually kill Glenn. Like, if it was like this Negan now, I don't think he could kill Glenn or Abraham right now. He's just not that kind of person anymore. He's grown so much. I think Judith showed him a new way. You know, he's just such a different person. But that Saviour Negan, man, he's the best Negan, I would say, just because he's just so entertaining, right? And there was a way for him to get to that point, though. There was something that happened that caused him to go so dark, so careless, and just be so, you know. I came across an interview actually with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and it's nothing new. Like, it's stuff that we've talked about before, but it was him a few years ago, and he was just defending Negan, right? He was saying that, well, no, for him, he was just getting payback because Rick and his people killed a bunch of his people, and he just killed only one person. It ended up being two people, but that was only because of Daryl. If Daryl never did that, Glenn would still be alive, right? So he does have a point. Like, there's going to be some sense there of Negan has done terrible things, but then again, if you look at what Rick did and all of that, and I hope Negan points that out to Maggie, because I don't think that's really, it's been pointed out, but it's not, you know, I do get it though as well. Like, Maggie's, just because Negan, say he isn't as bad of a person or whatever as Rick, that doesn't really matter. Like, sure, Rick killed more people, whatever, but Negan, he's still, like, he's the one who killed Glenn that affected Maggie, right? Like, that was that. Anyways, I can't wait to see how this younger Negan here, with his wife Lucille, what that's gonna do to him when she dies, and just how that, you know, how does he break like that? Because he seems so much, I don't want to say weaker, but he's not able to kill walkers. There's just a lot of things like that. And so I really can't wait to see the growth of this character. And I have this feeling, especially with this shot right here of Negan with like the fire and stuff like that. I think this is going to be one of those amazing shots where afterwards we're like, yeah, this is the birth of Negan. This is the birth of the Saviours. And when he walks out of there, it's like that was just it. You know, he is just that badass of a character now. He's gonna walk out, and that's it. Which I also do want to say that I do think this shot here of Negan coming out of the house, is probably related to all this stuff, just because, like, how many sets are you going to set on fire in this episode, right? Like, it is probably related. So him setting, I don't know what this could be on fire. Maybe he's setting his house on fire. Maybe he's burning everything that him and Lucille had. It could be something like that, right? But to see Negan actually create Lucille, create the Saviours, see the origin story play out, I am very excited about that, because we actually have this shot right here. This is an image here. And if you look down, Negan is carrying a hat and it says Saviour Athletics on it, which is a little interesting. Is that going to be the inspiration for the name? Is just that right there. He's just going to say Saviours. Like, he's going to be with a group of people. They're going to want to name this and that. He's going to have that hat on still, or he's going to see that hat or something and just think Saviours, or, because there's like Negan and the way he thought of the concept of the Saviours and what he told Rick and everyone else later, like Hilltop and stuff, was that we are saving you, right? Like, I am giving you protection, and in return for that protection, you are going to give us half of all your shit, right? So we're going to see that idea, I think, come to life in this episode. And it is going to be interesting, because we're probably going to see him maybe do something like that in this episode, right? Like an early version of that anyways, where he offers protection for certain people, but then he's going to take some shit from them because he has to survive, right? There's this person here, whoever he is tied up to this chair. Negan could come in here, kill them all, save that person, but then Negan is just like, yeah, but you have to give me half your shit now, basically, or just something like that, right? Because I saved you, I did that for you, now you owe me. It could work out that way. Like, that could be what happens. And maybe in return, that person just gives Negan his or her loyalty, right? Like, that could be how the Savior started. It could have just been an easy idea like that for him. And yeah, I really am interested in that. I hope we do get into some of the Savior stuff in this episode. I hope that's not left out. At least just like, you don't need to see him come up with the name the Saviours or anything like that. But it's just like, I don't know, something, like I want it to be at the end, he's dressed up in his leather jacket, has his red scarf and the bat, and then the personality comes to life at the very end, right? I think that would definitely be a very amazing episode. You just see this transition from the beginning, where he was like this very normal guy, all the way to who he became. I think that would be really amazing. Now, Jeffrey Dean Morgan also said that the 30 final episodes are going to be really awesome. They're going to be definitely something that fans are going to love, and I do think they are going to be as well, just because Angela Kang and The Walking Dead really, that combination there hasn't really let us down. Like, the Angela Kang era has been pretty amazing. I have not been disappointed really with anything for the most part. There are things like Beta versus Negan, and I guess just the way that the Whisperer arc ended, that there was no, I'm okay with the way the arc ended. It was definitely really amazing. It's just that I wanted there to be some, I guess, just more triumphant battle at the end. And that could be just because the final episode aired 6 months later, so it just kind of came out of nowhere. There was no momentum build. And so it feels very detached from episode 15. So, that is possible. But in general, I would say Angela Kang has done really amazing work on this show. And I think the 30 final episodes, it's going to be very Commonwealth related. Sure, that's going to be a big part of the arc. But I do think they are just going to wrap up a bunch of character storylines and do some character stuff that they've always wanted to do from the beginning. Now's the time to do it, right? Like, there's certain things people have been wanting to see since season 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, and things have just been pushed off just because, well, we'll get to it soon, like Daryl having a love interest. Now, I have heard some things about these 16 episodes. I'm not going to go into it or anything, but I can see how maybe we do start to get into that a little bit. And yeah, I'm just very excited. And I'm also really excited about what Jeffrey Dean Morgan had to say about the Negan spinoff, which is there's still a bunch of ideas in the works and stuff. And so they are still going to do that. Expect that for sure in a couple years. Like, I think they'll do that in, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years from now, right? Because there's no rush. We have so much content coming. As soon as The Walking Dead's over, AMC's going to have a bunch of stuff coming out that year, right? Like the Rick Grimes movie. There's going to be the Daryl and Carol spinoff. There's Tales from The Walking Dead. There's a bunch of stuff coming out, and a lot of fans are going to watch that stuff. You still have Fear the Walking Dead going. Like, there's no rush to get to that story yet. You might as well do it a few years later. And same with the Maggie spinoff. Like, there's going to be, I know people get very just like, oh, all these spinoffs, blah, blah, blah. But once the show's over, you're going to miss those characters. You're going to want to see them again. And so doing these spinoffs, that's just perfect, right? That's why I think they're not talking about it too much, because if they talk about all these spinoffs a lot, I think fans are going to just get like, holy crap, we're having a spinoff for every character. But once the show's over and you miss the characters, it's been a year or two, and then they announce a Negan spinoff, I can guarantee you all fans, even the fans that don't want that or anything like that, or even a Maggie spinoff, they are going to be excited about that, to see that character brought to life again. But yeah, overall, I really just, I can't wait for this episode. It's going to be a very amazing episode, and I'm excited to talk about The Walking Dead again. It's been quite a while, and I can't wait for the show to return. I'm going to have to watch the finale, or at least the last few episodes, just because, you know, I want to build that hype and get back into that. I wish there was a way I could do some sort of just like live watching. Like, obviously I can't air the episode on the channel or anywhere like that, but somehow do a live watch party where I'm watching it, and then I guess you could do that. I would just put a timer on screen, and you wouldn't really see anything, but you would hear my reactions and stuff like that to watching the episode. But that could get really boring though, so yeah, I don't know. Probably not. But anyways, post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.